Sovereign People. I'm your host, George McCullum, and we've missed a couple of weeks because we had a sad event with Michelle. He had a terrible fall Thanksgiving Day, and so I wanted to play this voicemail message that we received that day from Ann Gazzard. And this is how we found out about Michelle's fall.
Hi George, it's Anne Gazzard. I'm actually using Michelle's phone. So I'm here at the hospital and he's doing much better. He was at his daughter's place and I was somewhere else. And he was going down a couple of steps to leave and no one was holding his hand. But he didn't lose his balance. The steps are weird and the steps end and then there's a pole and it looks like the steps continue. So he just thought there were steps there and stepped into no man's land sort of thing. Turned around and fell backwards on the ground and hit his head on the cement. So he was brought to the trauma centre here in Trenton. He had multiple brain bleeds because of the blood thinner he's on. So it was a pretty horrifying experience. And quite remarkably, they took him off the blood thinner, of course, gave him stuff to reverse the blood thinner effects. And it took about a day for the brain to stop bleeding, which was great because they were talking about goddamn surgery. So thank God, just thank God that didn't happen. So they're amazed by him. He didn't, when he's sleeping all the time, but when he's awake, he's pretty bright, and he hasn't been affected cognitive or anything like that. Miraculously, his back's okay, he's walking okay, but he just is weak. He hasn't eaten, or he had a couple of spoonfuls of food today. He's very, just wants to sleep all the time, which apparently, so they tell me, is a result of brain trauma, and also they've got him on medicine for another week now to stop him having a brain seizure, and then the side effect of that is sleepiness, and so maybe that's contributing to it. But he's out of critical care and he's in a normal ward, and they're thinking of sending him home, maybe another day or two with home health, because he's, the brain stopped bleeding. But he has to go for another scan in about a week because he's got to get back on that blood thinner to stop him having, a stroke from like before. So that's another sort of hurdle they have to get over because, he's got to get back on it so he doesn't have a stroke, but then, hopefully the brain is healed so that it doesn't bleed again. So it's all, walking a fine line this way and that way, and but they're all very pleased with his progress, so it's looking good. And if it wasn't for the blood thinner, that he has to go back on, there wouldn't be any worries to look forward to, but, one more hurdle and it'll be okay. So I'll keep you posted and let you know when he's good for a visit. And I know we look forward to seeing you. And he really, so funny, he was in the hospital and they'd wake him up. Look, this happened Thursday night, so Friday, they wake him up every hour asking him what his birthday is, what month it is, because they have to keep seeing what's happening. That's how they test a lot about the brain as well as.
So the message just ended right there, and so everybody, we were very concerned about Michelle's health. As a matter of fact, it's his birthday tomorrow. He's going to be 96. We just came back from the rehabilitation facility, and luckily enough, I was able to record some of Michel, and because he wanted to keep the podcast going. So let's listen to. So we're here at the rehabilitation center talking to Michel.
Rehabilitation Center, I believe that's the title. Yeah. Rehabilitation Center in Trenton.
And how are you feeling?
Should I say I never felt better? I don't know if I can go to that point, but I feel good. I feel good.
Well, you scared a lot of people.
No, come on. No more than anywhere else, anybody else, anywhere else would do. Come on. You can fall on your head like me.
And you're planning to get out of here, what, in 2 days?
Well, they are supposed to tell me that tomorrow, if I just go away or if I stay a few more days.
And what have you been doing with your time here?
Well, one word now we are working on our project of, the No Pennies Party. That's our project. So working on that, I'm working on it myself personally since the 48 hours to finish the document that we are going to publish in January and send everywhere.
And the document is?
I believe that I'm not sure yet of how to call it. If it's I can say a declaration, intentions. But I'm going to define it because that was bothering me this afternoon when I moved the computer to figure out that I didn't know exactly the name I wanted to give to few things to be sure that the meaning is good and the people understand what we are talking about.
And you told me that you're getting some converts here in the facility.
Yeah, I don't know if I can go too much on personalities. That's something else. But apparently, if you want, my experience, which I could not avoid, of course, but have been very useful for one thing. Let's say that this organization is it's public in the middle of Trenton. It allows me, in fact, here it did allow me to talk to all the nurses, the doctors, there were some 2 priests, I believe. I talked to absolutely everybody to tell them what we were doing.
You're converting the priests.
I am converting the priest. No, I'm serious. I don't make it in purpose. We have no sign of any religion. Because I believe that the fact of religion is a very personal fact.
Right.
I can be nice with you, that's one thing, but it's something else that I'm talking about, and you know it very well, it's something else. So, in other words, it has been very surprising for me to find out that most, I should say not most, all of them in fact so far, did agree with us and say, we are ready to go with you.
Would they go in the street?
Would they go in the street? But, it's always the same thing. Through the whole story of humanity, revolution has only been the fact of very, very, very few people who are more or less exploiting all the others since the beginning. Of course, it went worse when the worst part of the story was the steam machine. When the steam machine appeared, only the people who had the money could buy the machine and create the factories and create cities around the factories where, if you want the final conclusion of a doctor who surveyed all the population of England at that time, for the worker to live is not to die. That was it. So what do you imagine that can arrive with the artificial intelligence and robots? They can take your whole they can yeah, they absolutely can take your whole life. They will intrude. They already intrude in your life by any seconds. They know where you are, but they will know exactly everything what you can think because they will manufacture your mind through artificial intelligence.
Right, they're going to implant chips. So we're getting close to Christmas and New Year's. Any messages?
Well, for everybody, of course, it's a period I should talk to myself and congratulate myself at the end of the year to break my head. But I wish absolutely the best to every one of you.
And we want to wish you a Merry Christmas, but also a very happy birthday. How old are you now?
Two birthdays tomorrow, 17th. I don't want to tell my age. Shall I tell my age?
Sure.
I will be 97 years.
Wow.
I am 97 tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you got a long ways to go. I mean,
Of
obviously.
course, it's not a question of time, and that doesn't mean that means nothing. It's a question that things they happen when they have to happen, always.
Right. So the
So far.
revolution will happen.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
When it's time.
Oh, yes. Of course, of course. There is no way. Well, depends on what we mean by a revolution. Huh? If it's just to take a gun and kill the neighbor, that's something else. That's mean. That did exist, in fact,
Yeah.
a lot of time. You know that. But you know, war is absolutely something disgusting. I have no reason to tell you why I am talking to you today when I should have been dead at least minimum 3 times. And not for a joke, huh? Be just shot at. Here the bullets, they don't make zzz, they make zzz. It's how they go.
And falling on his head, and
That's like a little
that happened on Thanksgiving, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Thanksgiving evening,
yeah.
You ate a little bit too much, huh? Nah. All right, so, but we just wanted to give a quick report to everybody, and you're going to be back on the podcast when? In the new year, right?
Oh, no, absolutely. No question, absolutely. And we really start to do something in January, in the beginning of January. 2 or 3 days after, the new year, where people are tired because they face the new year. So around the 4th or the 5th of January, everything starts.
Well, the new year is a time for new beginnings, so what better time, right?
Yeah. No, we cannot find a better. Those times have to arrive when they are ready to arrive. As long as the whole conditions are not there, forget it. Nothing happens. Or if it's something happens, it's a small thing and sometimes very brutal, but no.
Well, thank you for your time today, Michel. I'm glad to see that you're doing so well.
Well, George, you know very well. We know each other since a long period of time, my dear.
Yeah.
And we are basically from the same ideas. The only thing I'm happy that I didn't make it in purpose moi-même is precisely to be able to bring a philosophy very positive and usable to do something. It's not a dream. It's not a dream. It's the most realistic society possible. Because nobody makes too much. I don't want to stop you to be intelligent and to create something. That would be this is stupid. The equality of people is not possible. That's. So we create a society where no one can have too much, no one can have not enough.
That's something to look forward to, everybody. So join us again when we return with Michel Mockers at the beginning of the new year. And if we have to, we'll bring over the whole podcast setup over to your place, and but you'll have to be able to get up and down the steps.
Okay, dear. Okay, yeah, ready for you, my dear.
So that was Michel, and Rehabilitation Center, and he was doing really good. We were surprised. But we're not quite sure when the podcast is going to be up and running on a regular basis anymore, hopefully by the beginning of the new year, because Michelle has a lot more to say. If that's not the case, Anna and I will start rounding up some other guests and to keep the podcast going. And if anybody has any ideas or would like to wish Michelle a speedy recovery, they can always write us at info@radiofreewill.com. So that's it for today. I just wanted to give everybody an update on what's going on, and we will see you soon.